Welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. Here with us, we have Sean, Todd, Pat, and myself. I'm Travis. We only have a four-man crew tonight, but we're going to go ahead and start with the NFL playoffs, even though our Saints, unfortunately, did not make the playoffs. So we actually got to see, we're in the second week of it, so we got to see quite a few teams eliminated already, but we can actually kind of back and talk about who we actually really wanted to see in the playoffs and win, what have we learned from the playoffs so far. So who wants to go ahead and get started with that topic?
Well, I mean, I wanted to see the Bills knock Sean Payton out of the playoffs yesterday, but, I mean, if you're asking what we learned from the playoffs, I think over the past couple of years, we've learned that maybe the Bills just aren't it.
The Bills are choke artists.
I mean, Josh Allen, I felt like was carrying the team for much of the season, and he gets to the playoffs, and I mean, he had some atrocious turnovers yesterday. It was one right before half where it was like you look at him like, what the hell are you doing? I don't know, man. It's just I really wanted to see the Bills win the Super Bowl this year. And if you remember in one of the first episodes that we did at the beginning of this football season, I think we all kind of said the Bills were. I think it was when we were doing the Saints predictions. We said that the Bills should be the front runner to win the Super Bowl this year, that they were going to steamroll the Saints. And the Saints actually put up a really good fight against them with Spencer Rattler. I don't know, man. I really don't even have a team that I want to win anymore. The Bills were my team, and they fell short against the Broncos yesterday.
I do remember saying, I think in that episode when I picked the Patriots on the Saints thing, I remember saying, watch out for the Patriots. I think they'll be a force of some sort, and sure enough, look who's still in it.
Yeah, the Patriots don't have a huge weakness anywhere on their team, other than you could say their defense isn't at an elite level, but they're still very good. The Bills thing, they have the best running back or game in the system this year in the league. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Josh Allen can take over a game anytime he wants. The playoff game, I didn't catch all of it, but I believe he had 4 turnovers, or
I was going to say, I
responsible for 4.
The team had at least 5, because I know Cook had 1, and then I don't know how many others. I remember seeing at least 5 for the team.
Yeah, and then Allen gets credited with the interception at the end of the game.
Oh, true.
That, really should have been held on to by Brandon Cooks. That was up for kind of up for debate. It was called an interception on the field, so I don't think they were going to overturn it. But it also seemed to me like they didn't really pause the game to really look at it that long either, and it was a crucial call, and it was a very close call.
Yeah, and if you see some pictures on the internet, it almost looks like he's down with the ball in his hands before it's actually stripped out. But I don't know. I'm not a referee. I'm not Stereotor here, but
that kind of stuff's so hard. I've seen so many still shots of this and that, and everybody arguing for or against it, and it's I mean, I remember with the no call, they showed pictures of that Saints-Rams game of us supposedly stomping on people, and look at the Saints, they're no angels either, and it's like that's all still shots. There's no, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. Todd, going back to your Bills and maybe they ain't it point, it's starting to become a really big mark or a stain on maybe not as much Josh Allen, but McDermott and the coaching staff about just their inability to get it done in the playoffs. Because this is their 9th year together, and they have not made it. I think they made it to the AFC Championship game once?
Twice.
Okay.
In the last 8 years, yeah.
Yeah, and like the game, the 13-second game against Mahomes, that wasn't really on Josh. He played a great game. To yesterday was by far not his best. I mean, I think he did a lot in the Jacksonville game to pull them through and to get them into field goal range, and then end up winning that game on a touchdown. But I think it's going to start raising some real questions about McDermott and if he's the right person to take that team maybe over the hump. And we saw just recently 2 coaches that have been with their organization for a long time get fired because of their inability to take that final step and get to the Super Bowl with elite, well, maybe not in Pittsburgh's case, but with the Ravens having Lamar Jackson a top-tier quarterback talent and a really good running game, they fell short multiple times, sometimes at the hands of the Bills or the Chiefs or wherever the case may be. But I think McDermott's I'm not saying he's gonna get fired or maybe he even should. That's too early for me to think about that just yet. But they clearly have to find a way somehow to get over this hump.
Yeah, I won't be shocked if he gets fired.
Yeah, I at this point I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they would, because it's always the case of, if you fire your coach, who are you going to get to replace them?
Right. Yeah.
You got to find someone, if not as good, then better. And really, in this coaching cycle right now, I don't know what coach is available or out there right now that is maybe ready to lead that charge and take a team that is a already perennial contender every year to the next level. You'd have to have like an experienced coach, I'd imagine. So I guess our first name might come out be Mike McCarthy, because he's done it before. But do you really want to go back and retread that tire again?
Yeah. We've made mention of a certain friend on this pod a few times, and he's dead set on the fact that McDermott's getting fired. I'm not quite in that camp yet. I just feel like, every year he kind of makes, if not to the to the AFC Championship game, he at least usually wins around. I don't know. I just feel like right now he's still not going to be fired. In my opinion, I could be absolutely wrong on it, but
Well, I mean, I was really kind of stunned about the Harbaugh firing, because he already has a Super Bowl win. He always seems to have the Ravens in the playoffs in contention. I mean, I felt like that firing was a bit premature.
I don't disagree in some way. He's been there for 18 years,
He's been there a while.
and they have not made an AFC Championship game.
Really?
I don't think.
No, not with Lamar.
No. So
I think he was. I remember he was on the hot
they
seat.
were in the They won the Super Bowl with him. When it was the Harbaugh Bowl.
yeah, but since then,
But that was Flacco. So
since then, I don't think he's been back to an AFC Championship game.
because I remember he was on the hot seat when Lamar got drafted, or right before. I remember there was rumors about him getting let go, and then Lamar was drafted, and thankfully turned out to be good, and that kind of righted the ship.
Yeah, and it kind of like, I feel like it's more of like a Tomlin thing. Maybe it's just time for both parties to go separate ways and get a fresh start. And Harbaugh is now going to the Giants, so maybe he gets a chance with a young up and coming quarterback and a pretty decent core on that roster to build them up, because they need some structure and discipline and an identity. So maybe he gets a new fresh start with the Giants. I don't know where the Ravens are looking or turning for their new head coach, but it feels like they need a fresh start, just like Pittsburgh, and maybe not this year, but another year or two of McDermott and maybe failing to reach the Super Bowl. He might suffer the same fate in a few years' time.
And it seemed like there might be more to it. Supposedly Lamar and Harbaugh made comments that Lamar didn't like and stuff. So there might be more to it just than.
Yeah, I think their relationship is pretty fractured from what everything's been kind of said behind the scenes.
Lamar said something about, "I never quit on my team" or something, and I think that was a direct shot to something Harbaugh said or something like that. So that's when you lose the locker room.
Yeah.
When your star player is against you, the whole locker room is going to be against you, and so that it probably was time.
But yeah, so I mean, Josh did he had a hell of a game to get them through the Jacksonville game, and I think Jacksonville kind of not really gave that game to him, but it feels like they didn't want to run the ball as much as they probably could or should have, being that the Bills have such a bad run defense. But either way, they win. They played Denver yesterday, and I think for me the biggest takeaway was the news that Bo Nix is out for the remainder of the playoffs with a fractured ankle.
He was even in there for the victory formation. So it's like, that's so crazy. It's like, oh, by the way, he has a broken ankle. It's like you didn't see a devastating injury during the game or anything.
Well, I think they say it happened on the second to last play when he was, I think, trying to like run to the side and then like maybe fall down or something. But it's just like a freak injury kind of thing.
I mean, it wasn't like, a Cam Scatterbo dislocated ankle or something.
Right.
Obviously something, devastating. But, I mean, a fracture. I mean, we knew about Daniel Jones was trying to play on a fractured leg and, it got worse. And, whoever else, Herbert was playing with a broken hand. So was Aaron Rodgers.
And, I mean, staying on the AFC side, you have the Patriots in Houston. C.J. Stroud looked like a complete noob and a rookie today. You can't really blame the weather because both teams played in it, and Drake May didn't look terrible in the weather.
That's
He wasn't
what's
as
keeping the score close. Is that the Patriots are turning it over just as much?
the game was very sloppy, and some of that can be attributed to the weather. But you still saw Drake May make some throws and plays that you can't really say, hey, the weather was to blame for that. CJ Stroud, he had a bad game in Pittsburgh, and this is just a continuation of that.
Yeah, defense bailing him out. Yeah.
And for whatever you think of Ryan Clark and how much of a caricature he turns into on TV, he made some points, I think, right around halftime that CJ Stroud is going to be playing the second half. So it's going to define what we think about him going forward, because he came out red hot his rookie year, and he's been bad the last 2-3 years now. And so I think there's some real questions about him and what he's capable of doing and what he can do. And obviously the offensive line needs their help because they got bludgeoned today.
Yeah,
but
Will Campbell was getting abused.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, their offense probably looked better when Stroud was hurt and they were playing with Davis Mills in. So, I don't know. Yeah, his collapse has been monumental. I mean, he had a really hot rookie season, and then all of a sudden he's just kind of.
Who's the dude that was abusing Will Campbell? The draft pick, the Texans.
Will Anderson?
Yeah, Will Anderson. There you go.
Yeah, Will Anderson's good.
That whole team is good. From like each level of their defense, they have star players there.
The other end, they had Calais Vaughn. They kept not saying his name, but he was in Stroud's face, caused a couple of those shitty throws.
And I think on the NFC side, we're watching Bears Rams now. The Rams kind of skated by on playing the Panthers. The Panthers gave them a pretty good game, and then Bryce Young had the interception at the end to kind of really seal it. The Bears, I think, probably impressed me maybe second most behind San Francisco. Granted, San Francisco, their season ended, but to go into Philly and just beat up on Philly was pretty impressive. And we know Philly's offense isn't really dynamic right now. They're struggling really bad, but they San Francisco took care of business. And I know no one's here is a San Fran fan, but I will give at least some kudos to what's the coach? Shanahan.
Yeah.
For what he did to get that team with all those injuries to this point. Yep. And the Bears, I mean, that was a wild game with Green Bay, and I kind of like McDermott. You got to start asking questions about LaFleur. Again, doesn't need to be fired, shouldn't be fired, but they got to figure something out about that team to kind of get them over the hump as well, because they are struggling. Granted, they had injuries, but also they had a 21-3 or 6 lead going in a half.
Yeah.
And they let that game get away from them for whatever reason.
They just extended LaFleur too. I don't know what the deal is, but it's like, okay, whatever. But it seemed like these teams that were, falling short of expectations, if they're not getting rid of their coach, they were getting rid of their OC. It's like, if anything, maybe the Bills should think about defensive coordinator. I really don't know.
Right.
Because it's like Joe Brady's obviously solid. Their offense is good when they don't turn the ball over. But honestly, against the Jaguars and then in this game, they're giving up 30 points a game.
Yeah.
What happened, their defense used to be pretty decent.
Yeah.
I definitely know in fantasy they were like a weekly starter certain years, and it's like the Bills' defense is kind of falling by the wayside. I know they had Bosa, but who else are studs on defense? They got rid of Von Miller.
Yeah. I mean, they have Tre'Davious White, who had a really good game against Jacksonville.
Right.
He was probably the best player other than Josh in that game.
Yeah.
But they've been just.
But he's no all pro or anything. I mean, he's okay. But
yeah. He's not a stud, but he had a good game.
Yeah.
The Bears, I think my biggest takeaway from them was watching Caleb Williams do Caleb Williams things. He looked incredible. He was typical.
Comeback,
He was typical. Not great for 2 or 3 quarters, and then turned it on when it mattered the most.
That comeback was pretty. He made. I'm picturing that play up the side when it was one of the last scores.
Yeah, like the Jordan pose throw that he had to get the ball on the 4th and 8 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So other than that, the Rams I don't really know what to make of them. They offensively, they obviously have the players, but their defense hasn't really helped out a ton. And Who else we have left?
They've been good enough. The Rams defense has definitely
do-
got some stars.
Did we talk about Seattle? I mean, Seattle is
I was getting there,
Seattle's out here killing teams. I mean,
Yeah.
Hell, they're hurting people.
I mean, you say what you want about Sam Darnold. I mean, he wasn't like a complete playmaker yesterday, but he played well enough.
But that defense, though.
yeah,
The defense is going to take him.
But
Like,
see, that's what you need. Like you don't need an all-pro quarterback. I mean, you go back to when the Ravens won back in the '90s, and in the Ray Lewis days, they had freaking Trent Dilfer at quarterback, and the defense pretty much carried him all year, and he just played well enough. Like
for sure.
Rex Grossman when he was with the Bears takes him to the Super Bowl. It wasn't because of him; he played well enough, but it was their defense. I think Darnold's playing a little bit better than those guys, and they have the stud defense. To be honest with you, I'm going to go back and ask y'all a question. Todd was kind of saying, like, the Bills are out. He doesn't really know at this point who he's pulling for. And I think we can kind of go around the table and say, at this point, what's the lesser of the evils? Funny thing is, I got in a conversation at work based upon last week, and then I got kind of pulled into it again this week via text with two of my coworkers. Last week was, which fan base do you hate more between San Francisco and Philly? And then it's a tough one when you really think about it. But then I was like,
Gotta
what?
be Philly.
Yeah, I'll give the slight edge.
Honestly, Philly.
I'll give the slight edge for a pull towards the 49ers because I can't stand the Philly fans. Well, that comes up in this game as well now, being Saints fans. And then you're playing against the Bears, whose fans fucked us over at one time, and you're playing against the Rams with the no call. So in this situation, it's like another lesser of two evils kind of thing.
I guess though that the whole, I would say I'm pulling for the Bears in this game, and I think it's mainly that whole post Katrina thing with the Bears finishing what Katrina started. Shit, it still kind of touches a nerve.
Yeah,
but at the same time, this is like a whole. This was like for decades later now.
It's
like
been
a whole
long
new
enough.
regime. I like Ben Johnson. Dare I say I like Dennis Allen? I think he's a good defensive coordinator.
He's just not a good head coach. I mean, like
he was a great DC for us. It's just not a good head coach.
I loved him on the Saints when he was the defensive coordinator.
And I know Todd may argue this, but DeAndre Swift was a fairly decent low fantasy pick for us this year.
We got a lot of value out of him.
And I put, if there's one thing that stands out in this game above all, is my hatred for Sean McVay. So I'll take the Bears over McVay any day.
Are we taking anybody over Sean Payton, though?
Oh, anybody. Well, I don't know. It depends.
Jarrett Stidham's got to lead him to the promised land now.
I believe
that's a tough one. Would I rather McVay or Sean Payton to go?
Ugh.
I'll get back to you on that one.
McVay?
I would say McVay probably.
McVay hasn't done anything to us as a fan base.
I think he was the head coach at that
him
time with the no
much.
call.
But he had nothing to do with that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's on the officials.
But he was the figurehead of it.
I understand that, but who's done more actual bad things to you is Sean Payton.
I mean, Sean Payton is.
Well, so this opens up.
Show me on the doll where he touched you.
This opens up.
Did he do one of these numbers?
But this opens up a separate conversation we can have based upon this, because I've seen torn Saints fans on this, which I can't, for the life of me, I can't understand. But people will say, like, oh, I'm pulling for Sean Payton because he did so much for us.
You forgot what he done for us.
All right, so hold on a second. I think all of us at this table can appreciate what Sean Payton did for us when he was our coach. But the way he left us, to me, was just fucked up. Like, he saw our team in turmoil, and basically, to me, he said, shit, I can't fix this, and then said, fuck it, I'm out.
He had no.
But it was the health problem thing, right? Didn't he say
it was
going to focus on his health? Like
it was the Urban
Meyer.
It was the Urban Meyer heart flutters bullshit.
He wanted no part in a rebuild.
Now, he didn't kick his punter like Urban Meyer did, but
It's also when he's on Fox that one year he was as an analyst and he says, "Oh, I love it here. I could see myself being here for a long time." And literally the next year he's coaching.
No, he was when he left us, he was strictly looking for the next spot.
It was the first job offer too. It was like Denver.
He looked at the team that had pieces
like,
around
let's ride,
that he could work with. He thought Russell Wilson was going to be the guy, and it wasn't. But then he went out and got the quarterback he wanted.
Did he badmouth Russell Wilson?
Well, correction on that. He did not like Russell Wilson at all. He was the reason that I think the franchise and the owners got Russell Wilson. Yeah. He didn't want him, which is why he benched him and then shipped him off.
Well, he was already there, but I think he felt like he probably could have won with Wilson, and then after that bad year, he kind of quit on him.
I think he saw his bank account and saw the Walmart family money and was like, you know what? I will try with Russ and see how it goes. But all the reports were like he went to the owners like, listen, I can't do it with this dude. He's not good.
Yeah.
I know it's going to hurt us from a dead money in the cap standpoint, but he's got to go.
All right, so I'm going to go back to my question here. Where are you guys all in this argument with Sean Payton? Like, were you pulling for him yesterday, or were you hoping to God that he got his brain smashed in? I mean, because I was
as dramatic. I hope he lost, but I
was all for the Bills, so I was hoping the Bills would have smashed them.
I wanted a 50-point victory. Like, I wanted Sean Payton to go home embarrassed, but obviously it didn't happen. He can laugh in my face on that one.
I mean, he's a good coach. I mean, can't deny that.
But it is kind of karma as a Saints fan for you to lose your starting quarterback heading into the AFC Championship. Because I really believe the Patriots are going to kind of hand them their ass next week. But
I agree on that.
I mean, it's Drake May against
Jared Stidham can't be any worse than C.J. Stroud.
That's true.
I say fuck Sean Payton.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, that's, I'm with you on that because it just seems dirty what he did. He could have did it differently, but obviously he did not.
Had he sat out a few more years, I could have probably cut him some slack. But the fact that he went back after 1 year off and just looked for his best situation.
I don't even think it's like they sitting out 2 years. Just the fact that what he said and his reason for leaving is the real problem. I think that was the thing that bothered people more than anything was the fact that he lied and said it was of my health when it really wasn't, and that was the issue. Me personally, I don't like Sean Payton. I don't really dislike him. I tend to be a little less emotional. I tend to be a little less emotional because I don't get attachment to players or team or coaches as much. But in the game yesterday, I wasn't really pulling for either. It was a game. It was just another game in the season in the postseason for me. Jumping ahead real quick, I'll say of all the teams left that I'm pulling for Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm not some Sam Darnold fanboy, but I would like for him. I'd like to see his resurrection kind of continue to grow and him to kind of show that maybe it wasn't really all him. It really was a lot of just bad coaching in the organizations that he was dealt with. But so that's kind of where I'm at.
I think Sean Payton's a lucky guy that he's had two awesome quarterbacks that's played for him. I think
You think
what
Nix is
two awesome quarterbacks other than Breeze?
Breeze and Bo Nix. I think two awesome quarterbacks
that defense
have made him.
Bo Nix is awesome.
I think so.
I think he's serviceable. He's good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's awesome. I don't think
he's a winner.
He has won. I can't argue with that. I don't think he's.
No, we'll see.
He's not. He's not. I'm not saying he's Breeze.
No, I know you wouldn't have. You have more sense than to say something like that.
Absolutely.
Sean Payton,
HBK,
the
heartbreak
friend.
kid. The heartbreak kid, Sean Payton.
Cute. But I know I'm sexy.
Sean Payton is an offensive mastermind, though. He's a great offensive coach. So now, having a guy like Drew Brees with the accuracy has certainly helped, but I do think he's a great offensive coach.
It was a perfect marriage of a coach that can scheme and create offense and a quarterback who is deadly accurate and can get the ball down the field to anyone, anytime. So it just worked. And Sean Payton, like I said, he's a great coach. I have no issues. I don't like the way he left the Saints and his reason, quote unquote, for leaving, but I'm kind of over it. And so leaving what's left, I mean, I don't dislike McVay. I don't love him, but I'm very neutral to him. I'm neutral to Buffalo. I kind of want to see Trevor Lawrence have a really good game and see what they could do, because that's a team I think that's going to be pretty good for a couple of years. That they seem to have the coach now.
Yeah.
Seem to have a lot of pieces in place.
And I like that coach. I think he's a pretty good dude, and then we'll kind of see where he takes him.
Just like with the Bears, the Lions OC leaving and becoming the Bears coach. Cohen was the Bucks OC, and you can see how they suffered without him.
And look what he did. Look what all the work he did with Baker.
Right. That's what I mean.
He clearly shows he can do it. So yeah, I'm.
And then he goes to Jacksonville, and look, Trevor Lawrence has an up year. So
T-Law.
So yeah, I'm taking Seattle for the rest of for the teams remaining. I kind of want to see Seattle do it. They bother me the least.
Yeah.
And their fan base is the least annoying to me. So
And I like their coach too. I think he's kind of a young guy.
Yeah.
But see, from the young guy standpoint, he doesn't come across as an arrogant prick like McVay and LaFleur and the other young coaches of the league.
McVay's is just his robotic and like where like every time he talks, it's like he's always in coach mode. It's like, how is this dude behind closed doors? It just seems like he never turns it off. So
real quick on the coaching thing, what did you think of the Ben McDonald, Matt LaFleur handshake, quote unquote handshake?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, I'm sorry.
Oh,
We love you, Ben.
We've talked
McDonald.
about Ben so much; it's on everybody's mind on the spot.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Apologies, Ben. We know you're listening.
I think Ben's hunting right now, actually.
So I mean,
Todd knows his whereabouts at all times.
I mean, I don't think it was like super. I don't think it was as disrespectful as LaFleur took it. Like it was a short handshake, but I don't think it. I didn't find it like that dickish.
I think he meant to be a dick, though, didn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, they've obviously had friction in the past. I mean,
They don't like each other.
but I mean, he could have very easily not shook his hand at all. You know,
It wasn't as bad as the hard Jim Schwartz handshake.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
that one started like a team brawl on the field. That one was pretty funny.
I personally,
Two dicks.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love that Chicago and Green Bay have this big rivalry. It's the oldest rivalry in football, and the coaches understand it and embrace it. And yes, there's the behind the scenes that they don't like each other, especially because of what Johnson said about wanting to beating the Packers twice every year. And yeah, they don't like each other. I think it's good for football. It's not like it's not like they're fighting because of it. Yeah. And he did the gentlemanly thing of doing an actual handshake. But like some people are like, oh, that's class. It's like he
could see
shook his
Harbaugh
hand.
and Tomlin doing it.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the rivalry that the Saints and Falcons have. If you remember when we had Dennis Allen as the coach, and he I think was intentionally trying to kneel on the ball, and then Jameis Winston came in and gave Jamal Williams the touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Arthur Smith was yelling at Allen, and everybody was like, "Yeah, Dennis Allen, yeah, stick it to him, Dennis." And he goes in the press conference and says, "Oh, I told him to kneel on it." I think he probably completely lost the fan base if he had not already lost them at the point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a nobody, and I play against a lot of people in kickball that I don't like, but we all get in the same handshake line, and at the very least, because of just sportsmanship in general, I will do the handshake. I'm not going to put any effort into it, but I make the physical effort to just do the handshake because we're of what we're doing. After that, I go back to dislike you. But it's the sporting.
You know who didn't shake Drew Brees' hand?
No.
Peyton Manning.
At the Super Bowl.
I mean, well, Peyton, he might have his reasons.
Very douchey.
Yeah, it's a douche thing. I believe in at least the modicum of sportsmanship
And he said,
of the things that you should do.
He said it was because he wanted to, give him his moment, but I think that was pretty unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, that's a cop-out excuse. But again, they shook hands. It wasn't very long. I don't think it needs to be. It's not they don't have to have a powwow.
And if anything, it was LaFleur who started jawing afterwards. So he kind of handled it more classless than Johnson, in my opinion. But so are we kind of all on the same page here that I think best case scenario from two teams wouldn't necessarily mind going there to see would be like a Seattle versus New England at this point?
Yeah.
I could see that narrative with the fans thinking, oh, we need to get revenge since, remember the Patriots, not running the ball, and so Seattle could get that Super Bowl they should have won against the Patriots. But I know it's different teams, but still the fans aren't going to look at it like that.
And the negative side of that for me is it's kind of like a win-win because I wouldn't mind either one of those teams because at this stage in time, like this isn't the Belichick-Brady era where I much prefer a Drake May, Mike Vrabel team to a Belichick-Brady era, but at the same point, I have a hard time pulling for somebody in that Super Bowl because I don't mind them. To where like if you saw like the Patriots play the Rams, I think I'd be pulling a little bit harder for the Patriots. Or if it was flipped to where it was Seattle against Denver, I think I'd be pulling really hard for Seattle. So I think best case scenario is you have Seattle against New England, and you wouldn't really.
I think I'd be okay with Seattle, Rams, or Bears, honestly. Maybe in that order. No, maybe Bears above Rams. I don't know.
I would be okay with the Rams only because I like Stafford, and for him to have a second Super Bowl to go along with possibly an MVP in one of his last few years, probably.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. I've always liked him in Detroit. I've been watching him since he was at Georgia. I kind of like the guy. He seems pretty cool and pretty chill.
Yeah, I like him too.
Kind of guy I'd have a beer with him.
I like his toughness. Like he's just another one of these guys that
Is
you have
this
to
a
like
love
pull.
letter?
I'd write a love letter to Matt Stafford.
I mean, I just like the guy's toughness. He's another guy that doesn't like to leave games. He'll play hurt if he has to. He's just tough.
I mean, even with his resume now, he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. He's got He's got a 5,000 yard passing season.
With the Super Bowl, and if he wins the MVP this year, I mean, it's a lock. You know.
I think he's going to be a pretty much lock for Hall of Fame no matter what he does. I think he'll be first ballot if he gets a second Super Bowl. But he kind of like, I don't want to say he's like Brett Favre, but in the sense of like the toughness and the guy like kind of comes off as like you want to go have a beer with him after a game or whatever, or he'd have a beer with you. Seems like that. Hopefully he's not like Brett Favre's douchey ass, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I like Brett.
As a player or a person?
Have you seen that documentary? You might change your mind.
I mean, everybody's entitled to, fucking over people once in their lives.
Really? That's a hell of a take for you, Mike.
Leave it to Mike to say the controversial shit.
Can't wait to swim in your pool now.
Have you seen There's Something About Mary? He's got acting chops. No.
Yeah. I think people involved with Mississippi Medicaid would say differently.
Fuck them kids.
Brett Favre tried to.
He doesn't run any Minnesota learning centers.
Well, that's a different one, too.
All right, so staying on the topic of NFL, and we kind of started talking about this through our previous conversation about the NFL playoffs. We have quite a few coaching changes going on right now in the NFL. I believe there was last time we saw was there 8 coaching vacancies, and I know at least the Giants has been filled at this point because of the, as we mentioned, John Harbaugh was a little bit of a shocker as a coach firing, and then he ends up pretty much getting interviews from every single team that had a coaching vacancy. Went and interviewed him pretty quickly. He made his choice to go with the New York Giants. There's still a lot of vacancies out there. What the Dolphins have one. The Ravens are still looking for one. The Steelers are still looking for one. I guess the Titans are still available. So there's a lot of teams that still haven't hired coaches yet. Really, that whole what was it? The AFC, which is it? The AFC North? The one with the Bengals, Browns.
Yeah, all but one team has a coach.
The Bengals was the only one that kept their coach.
And a lot of people predicted him to get fired too, so he's still hanging on there.
He's got to be up on the block next.
The Bengals just have that long history of hanging on to their coach a little too long. If you look at the Marvin Lewis days,
Mm-hmm. I mean, kudos on the loyalty, but it's a different kind of situation from like the Ravens and the Steelers hanging on to a coach long versus the Bengals.
Yep.
I'm not saying Zach Taylor's going to get fired this year, but he's probably one of the next couple coaches on the block in the coming years to be let go because it doesn't sound like his quarterback is happy there. Despite getting paid,
Burrow decide to play football with Burrow's like talking like he's got like mental problems.
Yeah, and some more of that's probably towards the organization than the coach, but the coach is a factor in that. But if they can't find a way to start turning on their defense to play better, to be even be in contention to make the playoffs, he's going to be gone. And then whenever Burrow is up for time for his ability to leave, I don't think he'd be there much longer either.
Yeah, I don't know what the Bengals draft picks look like as far as how many early picks they have in the first, second, third round, but I think they better put all of those picks towards the defensive side of the ball since they have so much money tied into their offense. And I believe they're probably going to end up letting Trey Hendrickson walk in the offseason, which is it's going to be another huge blow for their defense. So
they got to do like the Falcons, just draft a shitload of D linemen or something.
That's pretty much what they have to do. And hope it works.
And speaking of the Falcons, that's probably the news that hits closest to home for us is that they hired Stefanski as their new head coach. And honestly, I can't really decide if that's a good or a bad hire. I don't think it's bad, but
I mean it's mediocre going to mediocre.
I feel like he's not a bad coach. I mean,
he was coach of the year with Baker twice. It was twice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what. Okay,
but the organization has just not ever done right by the quarterback drafting.
Also,
That's been their
remember,
downfall.
Matt Ryan's now head of operations or whatever. So
Yeah.
what is that going to do? I have no idea.
I obviously we don't know what took place behind the scenes and who had say in what took place on the Browns. But yeah, he was the head coach for the screw up with Baker, and then the colossal, probably worst football contract signing ever with picking up Deshaun Watson.
That was on the ownership.
Yeah.
I think the big knock on Stefanski from all of that would be, I think, what's the quarterback they drafted before Shador?
Gabriel.
Oh,
Dylan Gabriel was his choice. So that's on him. But it goes back to the Browns. That's a horrible organization, and they chose the Watson deal, and they wanted Shador from what everything sounds like versus Stefanski.
City of life.
Oh, yeah.
City of magic.
I remember 2020 with Baker and everything, but I completely forgot about 23 when they picked up Flacco.
Oh,
Wasn't
yeah.
it Flacco was like comeback player of the year that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They even won a playoff game, I think.
But Stefanski is an offensive guy, so he has, at least from that standpoint, the Falcons got the right sort of guy.
It's
But-
what Atlanta needs to put the talent to use. It seems like they got the defensive pieces. Now they need to Bijan, Drake, get a quarterback playing correctly.
I was going to say that's going to be his biggest challenge. Is you might have a better quarterback situation than you had in Cleveland, but you still have a big question mark at quarterback of what you do with Penix and old man Cousins.
Fuck the Falcons.
I agree.
I mean, Cousins may retire, so you may, and I was hearing rumors stirring that of course this could just be AI bullshit or whatnot, but that the Browns are considering like opening up a trade with the Falcons to send Gabriel over there so that he can be with Stefanski. But it could just all be bullshit. But I don't know, when I heard the Stefanski hiring, I mean, from as a Saints fan, it didn't scare me. I mean, I don't know if that was
They didn't take Penix that high to not give him a legit shot to be their future. So
For sure, but Stefanski, his first job is to hopefully fix Penix. That's his
Right.
his number one concern and job.
that's what we're saying about all these coaches changing teams and like look what they did for the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that's what they're hoping is at a fresh start. Get Penix on the right track.
And like, I'll give Stefanski a little bit of grace. I don't think there's anything he could have done with Gabriel or Sanders and to turn them into a serviceable or good NFL quarterback. So that maybe his hands were tied, but we'll see what he can do in Atlanta. He's got a boatload of talent on the offensive side. The defense is not bad. They're kind of young, but they have playmakers. So depending upon what his staff looks like, they may make some noise or be more formidable. We'll see kind of going forward, though.
Is Mike Tomlin's name getting pitched around as a coach for somebody else, or like to me? I mean, I'm just looking at it from a high school counselor standpoint here, and looking at money that these guys made and how much money Tomlin's made over his career, and say like, why do I want a coaching job right away, or do I just want to take a year or two off and
I haven't heard
sit on my
anything.
ass?
He
and-
always focused on his health. Man.
I think he is just taking it easy. I mean, I'm sure he's waiting. He'll wait for the right moment, the right deal.
Will he take the Ed Orgeron approach and just go just tour college campuses and
Most
hook up with some co-eds?
Most people have said that he's probably going to sit out a year and maybe like just do TV for a little bit, like a lot of coaches do, but then kind of survey the landscape and see what happens after the next season to see what's available. But I think he would get a pick of almost wherever he wants to go for what's open now, other than Baltimore, obviously. So all the reporting seems like he's probably going to sit out a year, do whatever, figure it out, and then maybe put his name back in the hat for next year.
Yeah.
Which would be smart because of the jobs open, a lot of teams could use him, but he's going to be going into a situation where he's got some of the same problems that he had in Pittsburgh, where you don't have a quarterback situation like Miami.
Yeah.
You take that job, you have a real question mark at quarterback. What are you going to do? So
Well, I was going to say, do you think all these positions will be filled before the draft, so the new coach is going to have a hand, like it's saying
I think-
Las Vegas,
I would think so.
have a hand in drafting a new quarterback?
I'd imagine you'd want to.
Yeah.
And then if you're, like I say, who takes the Vegas job? Because that job is going to be bad.
Other than having the number one pick. You know, so
other than number one.
Pencil in Mendoza.
You have the number one pick and you have Brock Bowers. You have almost nothing else.
I'm sure Brock Bowers wants Mendoza.
Well, now that Dante Moore has decided to go back to Oregon, I'm pretty much locks Mendoza into that number one spot to where like you
put Mendoza with, like you said, Brock Bowers and Genty. That would be,
it's a start.
Could be
but
scary.
There's also talk of them maybe taking a lower draft, like trading out of that
Trading
pick
down,
to get more picks because they need way more than just a quarterback.
Yeah.
So they're multiple years. They're a year away at the very least. So maybe you just get a 1 year quarterback to kind of get through that year, and take your draft picks and try to make your team better. I don't know.
Like Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Well, going off of coaching real quick here, now that the Saints are kind of in their off season, and you hear, I guess the number one name that's thrown around the Saints right now would be A.J. Brown being, potentially wanting out of Philly. I guess he's probably still got some time left on his contract, but has already said he wants to be traded. He had the chemistry with Kellen Moore.
I think Philly wants to trade him too.
Oh yeah,
they don't want anything we have.
I know. It would probably have to be draft picks or something at this
point.
point.
Trade him Cesar Ruiz.
But just hypothetically, like if he did express interest in coming to the Saints, how do we feel about that as a whole?
I just worry he's going to be another Michael Thomas. But maybe since him and Kellen Moore have that chemistry, maybe not.
I feel like he's way more professional than Michael Thomas. Now, you see all the stuff that he did on the sideline and how he talks in the media. I get that, but he still showed up to play. Yep. Now, granted, you got to worry about his production because he had a lot of critical drops throughout the year, especially in the playoff game where they lost to San Francisco. But he seems to carry himself better than Michael Thomas did. He doesn't. He has the inherent diva wide receiver vibe, but he still shows up to play.
Yeah, he doesn't. Fake injuries.
Yeah, and he's pretty damn tough, and he played a lot. So I would welcome it. Yes, like you said,
if he's in a good situation, he'll play his ass off.
Yeah, the cloud over of uncertainty is all
his
like
ideal
Todd said.
situation.
Yeah, like Todd said, you got to worry about just will he go nuclear in the media if things aren't going right. That's the only big concern. But from a talent standpoint, he has that, so that's not really a question at all.
I think we have enough people in the locker room that can kind of settle that.
And look, if he's played for more and respects more, I feel like that would be at least for a year or two, probably work out pretty well. He definitely fills a need for us with that consistent big body receiver. Because I know we have Vele and we have high hopes for him. But I would welcome it, especially if he's able to kind of keep his attitude in check, and if we could afford it,
what would we have to pay him? At least $100 million.
Yeah, because Olave's due for a contract, and I think he's earned it. So, but to have a combination like that at wide receiver would be pretty solid.
He would probably welcome having a quarterback that actually throws the ball like a traditional quarterback, and not have
pocket
to
passer.
Yeah, and not have to deal with the style of play that Jalen Hurts is accustomed to.
Yes.
So.
We saw Shuck can run, but he's definitely a pocket passer before he's less of a Josh Allen than he is Josh Allen. So.
Yeah. Well, look, that could be something to keep an eye on. I don't know if there's any more free agents out there that really kind of fit the Saints bill. I know we mentioned it on the last pod. We really are kind of hoping that we can carry in last year's draft into this year and draft some more good players to put those pieces around Shuck.
One last thing on that. Did you see that we were rated and graded the best draft from last year?
And it
doesn't surprise me at all.
Based upon the way all of those draft picks played, maybe minus the 7th round tight end, everybody seemed to play pretty well.
That dude Broughton was out for the season, I think.
Yeah.
After the third or fourth game. But
right.
I think Shuck was probably the steal of the draft, and then Jonas Sanker was probably not too far behind him.
Yep. And then I think Riley overplayed his draft. Neal overplayed where we drafted him. Stutzman is going to probably be a pretty good linebacker moving forward. He played his ass off on special teams. And again, I think we hit on every position. If we could have another draft like that, I think we're going to be, especially with our division being relatively weak still.
So what does that say about Mickey Loomis?
I was going to say I'll eat a little bit of crow.
We bashed that man pretty hard.
And he deserves it. he deserves it
But like
for.
Patrick said in the last episode, though, he's got to continue doing this.
He can't just be a 1 year flash in the pan.
He got this draft right.
Breeze.
He needs to do it again. Just do your job at the correct competent level like you did this year. But you're not going to skate on the 3-4 years prior and all the deals you did back in the day that put us in the hell that we were in. He did right by us this year.
And
Need to see it happen again.
Also, how much
Let us
of
not
it
forget
was
Brandon Browner.
how much of it was Kellen Moore too, with his 2 cents drafting and all that.
I agree. They all played a part.
This could all been Kellen Moore, and then just Mickey Loomis is putting his name on it. So.
Harris Bird.
But
Yeah.
also going back to
Harris
Sean's
Bird,
point, though, I think this
Brandon
is
Browner.
why teams probably do want to fill those coaching vacancies before, so at least the head coach has a strong say into what their team's drafting. And I do believe Moore probably had to speak his mind on a lot of those picks, especially the Tyler Strook pick. I really feel like he went out and got the quarterback he wanted. So, it was definitely a combination of them two probably working together, but I would imagine Moore had a strong say in all of those picks.
For sure. You could see the in hindsight, looking at how they drafted, they got players that are versatile and serviceable, and they are production guys. Kind of like, let's say, Indiana, in college, they don't have a lot of 4 and 5 stars, but they got a lot of guys that produce. Kellen Moore seems like he wanted, for maybe not these big flashy names, but he got guys that he knows that produce in college and can work in the system that he wants to operate. He's got the quarterback that can run the system, and truthfully, he probably has a better passing quarterback than what he had in Philadelphia when they won the Super Bowl. So it unlocks other players to perform and raises their level too, because the quarterback, which we hit on, is seems so competent, I guess.
All right, y'all. We're gonna shift off from football for a second, move into another sport real quick, and we're gonna talk about Major League Baseball, particularly free agency right now. And it really just seems like the kind of same dog and pony show we see every year when these big name free agents hit the market. And it's really discouraging being a fan of a small market baseball team like me being the Cleveland Guardian, Todd being a Baltimore Orioles, St. Louis Cardinals for Pat really haven't made any big splashes in a while either. But a couple of big free agents that had just made some signings, and obviously one of them more notable than the other. Kyle Tucker, the outfielder for the Chicago Cubs, ended up signing another humongous deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. His deal doesn't look too far off from Shohei Ohtani's with the amount of money he's going to be making. Mm-hmm. And so he ends up signing this humongous deal with the Dodgers. And then shortly after that, a couple days later, Bo Bichette, the longtime shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays, signs a big deal with the New York Mets. So how do you guys feel about this in general? Like it's from my angle, being a small market fan, it's really discouraging because you go in. Bo Bichette was a hot commodity that was mentioned as a Cleveland Guardian target, all the way going back since last year, and to see him go sign with a big market team is discouraging.
But the Mets aren't very good, huh?
They're another team that has one of the biggest payrolls, and they went out and signed.
It's still New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like signing with the Giants, even though they suck right
now. They were a front runner for a World Series favorite last year because they went out and signed Juan Soto before the season started, and got his humongous contract signed.
And they got Lindor a few years before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just hasn't really panned out for that. They did make it to the World Series a couple of years ago, but. A lot of the times that these big market teams will sign these guys and it won't pan out, but you do see for the Dodgers it has been working, but they pretty much have an all-star at every position. So what is y'all's takeaway from free agency thus far with MLB?
I don't have a lot on it really. I haven't really thought about it too much. It was nice to see that the Cubs, quote unquote, got weaker by losing Tucker, but then he goes to the Dodgers. So how do I really feel about it? Happy. Love and hate. It sucks that the Dodgers are just going to get bigger and stronger and spend more money. But I mean, there's really nothing we can do about it unless they somehow do a revolution and at some point install some sort of salary cap, which I don't think they're going to do.
Why is there no salary cap in baseball?
It's just, I think the way they collectively bargained it from the ownership on down, that's how the owners were going
It's
with
voted
it.
on, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's more of the rich getting richer, and as much as you want to complain, that's just the way it is. So
basketball doesn't have salary cap either.
yeah, the best you can do is hope that these teams that don't spend as much and do more in like the scouting in minor league system can keep fighting the good fight for all of us. But until then, that's what we're kind of up against, is just waiting to see which two or three big teams with the most money are just going to beat each other up. I don't know. I don't have much on it. There's no other way I can feel about it.
That's how basketball is, with the Lakers always in it somehow, because they get every big name.
Yeah, it's different in basketball because you do have the salary cap, and like you did have the years where like
I'm thinking guaranteed contracts. That's what it is.
but like the Warriors would spend a lot of money and go over there and have to pay into the luxury tax when they had Steph, Clay, Draymond, and when the KD was there. So there is a bit of that too. But from the Lakers standpoint, they've been ass since the COVID year,
2020.
And yeah, granted they got Luka, but that was because of the Mavericks were idiots.
Yeah. Well, they had Anthony Davis before that.
Yeah. That was also They will go big name hunting and acquiring.
They always have at least one known star.
Yeah, because it's the Lakers, and they're going to always have one. But luckily, because of the salary cap, they can't just like stack 3 and 4 of them together.
True.
But like look at like San Antonio and let's say OKC, they did it through the draft. So in basketball it's a little bit different. But yeah, in baseball it's really just going to be the big markets are going to keep buying up players until either the organizations or league has enough of it and they do something about it.
Yeah.
But as fans, I mean, there's nothing we can do other than bitch and take it, I guess.
I mean, to me, it's one thing I'll say, and I think I was having this conversation with somebody else yesterday, as far as like the difference between basketball and baseball, though, is I think with basketball, when you sign all these big guys, you can kind of see personalities clash, and one guy wanting the ball more than others. With baseball, everything's kind of done individually. And this is very, very reminiscent of the Yankees back in the late 90s and the early 2000s when they had that stacked ass team with Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, and they signed the A-Rod at one point.
Gary Sheffield at one point.
It's going to be very, very hard for the Dodgers to lose when they keep adding the best players in baseball. So I think that there's a really good shot they're going to three-peat? Yeah, I think so. And it sucks. So, I mean, if there is one team that's the most hated team in baseball right now, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I think it was funny because I think Josh Allen, as bad as he played yesterday, when the press conference and they asked him like who his favorite baseball team is, and he said anybody that beats the Dodgers.
So we could love on the Yankees again?
Oh, no, I'm an Orioles fan, so I will never love on the Yankees.
Okay, love is a strong word, Mike.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
They're
just not the
as
most hated right now.
Yeah, they're not the most hated now. The Dodgers have taken over that space.
But aren't you an Angels fan, Mike?
Yes.
Well, let me just pose this question. I think I brought this up when we talked about, in the pod when we talked about the World Series between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. At what point, like if you're a grown individual like us and you are kind of a casual baseball fan, you don't really have your team that you've been following for a long time. How do you become a Dodgers fan at this point? Like, if you're not like a 10-year-old kid who just jumps to the winners, like how do you end up like just saying like, oh, I really like this team that spends all this money and goes and gets every freaking free agent that hits the market?
Do you see
if you're a casual watcher, you probably don't really care about
if
that.
you're a casual
aspect
watcher, you're probably just going to go with who's winning.
Yeah,
Okay, so maybe my question wasn't right.
The,
All right,
the casual watcher is the bandwagoner.
Yes.
So,
but let me just say this. Like, all right, let's use Russell for an example here. So Russell, we had this moment with Russell where he was trying to decide what, and Mike did this as well. We were picking the NHL teams. If you're 40 years old and you're picking your team that you're going to follow for the first time,
the Golden Knights,
who did just come off of a Stanley Cup when Mike picked them, but that's neither here nor there. But how does one say like, all right, it's my time to pick a team? I'm just going to go jump to the team that has the most money and keeps winning. Like, I don't know. To me, that just kind of takes the fun out of it.
I get people following like Ohtani or like Aaron Judge when he was going for records and shit. It's kind of like, Sosa and McGuire. Yeah. But, I mean, that's how I am. I'm a very casual MLB fan. But I was by no means, a Cardinals or a Cubs fan when Sosa and McGuire were doing it.
And I don't have any issues with Ohtani. Like, if Ohtani was out trying to set records, I'd be pulling for him to do it. Like, it's just the amount the people who don't have a team and then they're trying to find one. Let me just latch on to the Dodgers because they win in an unfair advantage pretty much every year.
Yeah. So I think you have those people, and I don't think maybe there are as many of them as we might think. Now they might have been Dodgers fans from back in the day, and they kind of just came back out of the woodwork once they got good again. But like in the case of Russell, I would think that you would lean on your friends that do watch whatever the sport is and kind of get their input of opinion to help inform your choice. And that would be the most logical way to go about it. Or maybe if you were born in one city and you moved away, maybe you adopt a team that you moved to or came from.
Or if you like a particular player.
Yeah, or if you follow a particular player.
You follow a particular player.
That's like
happens to be on a shit team,
Any Japanese or Asian American person or Asian person that is now a baseball fan and is a fan of the Dodgers, I can't say I 100% blame them because I have a pretty good idea why they're following the Dodgers now.
But Mike, you just brought up a good point, and it's a point that I like. Like, if you're latch on to a player and he's on a shit team and you start following that team because of that player and then you stick with that team, I think that's awesome. Like, I would love to see that. But like, if you're following a player and you're just going to move to his team because they're winning.
So Ohtani,
was an Angel.
Was an Angel. Yeah. And I really liked Ohtani. And if I came to this pod and said, man, I'm following the Dodgers now.
I would have your ass on the spit roast, but within minutes you'd be seasoned up and cooked.
But you could still follow Ohtani.
I know.
I just would hate to see you leave the Angels high and dry just because you went to the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah, like if you came in and you were just started just bombarding us with Ohtani information, stats, and updates all the time, I'd be like, all right, I get it. That's your guy. Now, if you walked in with a blue hat on, we got a problem.
Mike's probably got a Dodgers hat on.
No, because his son is a Yankees fan, so he wouldn't have a Dodgers hat on.
Just Angels.
I think there were a shit ton of Chinese, Asian, whatever. When Yao Ming was with the Rockets, they were loving the Rockets.
And I get all of that. That's fine. Like, I mean,
Linsanity.
Going back to even the Dodgers in the '90s when they had Hideo Nomo. I remember he had that dominant season when he first came in, and there was.
Fuck, I don't really give a shit about the U.S. men's soccer team, but some of their I considered buying a Pulisic jersey. Maybe not when he was at Chelsea, but at AC Milan Pulisic, I thought about buying a jersey. But I don't follow the U.S. men's national team. But I consider it just because of that player and how important he is to the U.S. team. I don't just go all in on the U.S. men's national team like I do say the women's team or whatever.
So you're not going to be pulling for USA?
No, I am. Now, when they play Spain, I'll think about it. But I'm still gonna pull for the U.S. I just don't have as much faith in them.
So I've been getting
what
alerts.
smells like potted meat now?
I know.
I was about to say it smells like cereal. What am I smelling?
It smells like spam.
Somebody cooking something.
It's like spam.
So I get alerts from the Segunda División for
Deportiva
Las Palmas.
Oh, Las Palmas.
Division 2, huh?
And they're sucking in the second division.
and they suck dick. Yeah.
Well, it might be time for Mike to pick a new team.
Köln might be saving themselves from relegation, but they're not far away. So they might be Bundesliga too again before I know it.
Bundesliga.
Well, since we're on the topic of soccer, AS Roma won again today, so I made sure to bring my scarf out.
Good job.
You picked a good team, man.
Yeah,
well, I thought I picked a good team. They won Bundesliga 2 last year. They
were basically playing in the minors. So,
but does that really say much?
That'd be like them playing the New Orleans Zephyrs.
Was Las Palmas going to win the La Liga 2? Or
Fuck
Liga
no.
2?
Mike, they got to start somewhere. They made it to the top flight, and now they're just like I told him, like Todd Travis before their first season. Like, you just gotta now try to stay up and stay relevant, and survive the first couple years of being in a top flight where it's going to be a lot tougher. And once you start getting more money, you can start getting better players.
But the way Patrick explained it to me is, I got to hope for middle of the pack, and I'm okay with middle of the pack, but we're getting close to the bottom of the pack.
Well, you
Very bottom.
listen.
And-
You still got to perform. You want to be middle of the pack, yes, for right now, but they're just not doing too great.
This is. I mean, I know we're not talking about soccer. I know that's not the topic.
This is a free space.
Free space. Okay, great.
The trust tree.
My biggest problem with
Football.
my team, my soccer team, is the merch. Like it's
hard to find.
It
Yeah.
is super hard to find.
Yeah.
And I could wear some of those colors. Like I love the colors. I love, all that. See, you obviously
That looks like a rug.
So Mike, the UK soccer shop where I bought my jersey does have Las Palmas stuff. You do have to buy it a size bigger though, because it definitely it fits.
Yeah.
If you normally, whatever size you normally wear, go a size up, because
I would go 2 if it's from.
mine fits pretty
is the same.
snug.
This is hand knitted
I
quality
want to
shit
say,
here.
wasn't it in euros and you had to pay like crazy shipping
Yeah,
or something like
I
that?
think I don't think the shipping was as bad when I went to the Cone website to try to buy. The shipping was astronomical, so that's why I held off on some of that stuff. But UK soccer shop, I don't think the shipping was too bad.
I was actually fortunate to find mine on DHgate.
If it is in euros, you're gonna get screwed. I've ordered some vinyl and stuff from one of a couple of record labels, their foreign shop, and the shipping's like minimum $20. It's
I mean, at this
ridiculous.
point, I might just go the sweatshop option.
I mean, listen,
That's DHgate.
if you guys want to get some new soccer swag, I said we just put a group order in and we all just split the shipping to make it easier for everybody, because I could use some new stuff. At least that'll not hit our wallets as bad if we bought all individually. So we can.
Yeah,
talk.
you could also get the Lincoln City Imps.
They do have a pretty cool jersey.
We are imps.com.
Although if I get another Cone jersey, I guess I'll have to go back and get like a Podolski jersey or something, because
yeah, you definitely get a
because
throwback.
right now it doesn't look like outside of Martel. I don't know if there's like any other guys who are going to be like sticking around, because their lineup is like so different from last season. It's crazy. So. All right, so Todd, we're going to move on and do like a quick little movie review here. Todd wanted to tell us a little bit of a movie called Evil Tunes, so I'm going to pass it over to him for a second and let him get started on this.
Yeah, so every now and then I will. Y'all have Tubi, right? Y'all watch movies on Tubi.
Yeah.
I have it. I don't think I've ever turned it on.
So Tubi is really great because it's a free streaming service, and they have a ton of movies on there. Whether it be like a lot of the primary ones that have kind of just exited the new release stage.
They got a pretty nice catalog for being free.
But they have a shit ton of like low budget small movies. And what I'll do sometimes is I'll like type in like my favorite actors and see what movies pop up that they're in. But it says recommended for you, and they'll have movies that pop up in there. So one of the movies that popped up was called Evil Tunes. And I'm looking at the cover of the movie, and it looks very reminiscent of the movie Cool World with Brad Pitt and Gabriel Byrne. So I'm like, man, this is probably gonna be good. So I'm reading the description. It's basically like Cool World, but it's horror. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna add this to my watch list, and eventually I'll get around to watching it. Well, Friday after dinner, Jessica and Grayson went upstairs and we're watching Hamilton. So I was like, all right, yeah, let me tune into Evil Tunes and see what it's all about. So basically, if I'm going through the cast of this movie, I mean, the biggest name in it is David Carradine.
Okay.
I mean, the second biggest name is probably Dick Miller, who was the crazy guy, was a Murray in Gremlins.
Dick Miller.
The older guy that was like, she's like, it's okay, Mary, I hear it too. Of course you hear it too. What's that supposed to mean?
Okay.
But he's probably the second biggest name, and the biggest name female in it is the Patrick said in here for this. Basically, Tom Hanks' ex-girlfriend in Bachelor Party, the one that does the full frontal scene in the bedroom. She's pretty much like the main female lead.
What's her name?
Her name is Monique Gabriel.
Okay, I'm just curious.
But I mean, basically, I'm talking 7 or 8 minutes into the movie. It just opens with like pointless nudity. Like one of the girls just starts dancing and starts taking off her clothes. And keep in mind, it's like the premise of the movie is these 4 girls are getting paid to clean up a house that's getting sold to some new people, and it's of course this haunted house that has a haunted book in it with the evil tunes inside of it. Sounds pretty catchy already, doesn't it?
Like comic strips when you say tunes, or
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily follow like the whole Cool World theme where it's like the comic books that Jack Deeds draws come to life, but it's like this haunted book that they find in a chest in the basement, and when they open it, the tune comes out, and he starts killing them and having sex with them and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, yeah, like I said, like 7 or 8 minutes into the movie,
really naked.
so it's got 4 girls in it, and it's literally 7 or 8 minutes into it. One of them starts dancing, and she's like, "This is how I get like turn my guys on." And she starts taking all her clothes off, and I'm like, just her and 3 other girls in the house.
Can we watch that for the Halloween party?
Yeah, let's put it on Sean's Halloween party.
Yeah, now that he's got 8K.
So I mean,
pull it up on Tubi.
It's almost like I've said this before about the. Have any of y'all seen the TV show Spartacus?
No.
It's a really good show. I mean, the acting in that is good, but it's almost like the director's like, all right, it's been 5 minutes without nudity. Let's somebody take their clothes
I
off.
thought that's where you were going with it. I haven't really seen it,
This-
but I heard about that show.
This
Just like
movie-
Rome on HBO. It's just like boobs.
This movie had that same feel to it. It's just the pointless nudity scenes. So every one of these female characters in it, and Jessica. The funny thing is, Jessica comes down from Hamilton while one of the nudity scenes is happening. And I'm like, oh, good. She comes down when the nudity scene's on.
Well, you said it's every 5 minutes.
But
It's a good
yeah, but
chance.
this was like early. This was only like the second one, but it just didn't just kind of get the whole premise. This is just like Cool World meets softcore porn. I'm good. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those interesting finds that I found on Tubi. The acting in it is ridiculously cheesy. It's basically just something that you would almost see when you're scrolling through Skinamax at night that comes on. I mean, I'm looking at I think what does IMDb have it rated? How many stars it has? Like 4.2.
While you look that up, the answer to our question about what that smell was popcorn, which led to popcorn being brought in.
I mean, I thought it smelled like potted meat too. I thought one of y'all might like burped, like just came back from the eat.
For some reason, I had cereal. I don't know why. It smelled like something Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I thought it was
or
one of
something.
you Yellow Jackets at first.
The future is teal, Ross. So it's got 4.2 out of 10 stars on IMDb. I mean, again, the movie's awful. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all to watch it. The acting is very cheesy, but it definitely gives you. You know, Travis and I used to have that package where we had the movie channel and Cinemax and Showtime, and we'd be scrolling at night looking for like Skinemax flicks. And this is definitely this movie, Evil Tunes, definitely fits that bill.
I'm surprised it doesn't star Mario Van Peebles.
Load management approved.
Like I said, the 3 biggest names: David Carradine. There's a guy named Art Johnson. I don't know if he's been in anything else.
Kill Bill himself.
he
Wasn't
looked-
that David Carradine?
He looked kind of I think it
yeah.
is. And Dick Miller, and then the Monique Gabriel. Those are your names that were in this movie.
Did Dick Miller have a prominent role in the movie?
Not really.
So for you, if we're going by our hearts scale here, if,
Oh,
4.2 out of 10 stars, how many out of 5 hearts?
Oh man, it was terrible. 1.5.
Which seems pretty generous, you know.
You know, and again, the movie was set in 1992. Is that right?
Looked like it came out in 1992.
Yeah, so it was made. It was made in 1992.
It's made in modern day.
So the girls still had like the 80s hairstyles.
Was it released straight to VHS?
I'm pretty sure this movie did not make it to theaters.
What would you rate the nudity?
I mean, there was no full frontal, so I mean, it was.
Oh, so we don't know if Bush was.
If I had to
thing,
guess,
or-
I'm pretty sure
Bush
it
was president at the time.
True. Facts.
Yeah, so if you're looking for like a
Senior.
And I mean, I'm sure this movie was probably meant to be like cheesy, funny in a certain way too. But I mean, if you're looking for like a good laugh with a lot of nudity, naked, really naked, go ahead and check it out. But I mean, don't expect it to win to have won any kind of Oscars or anything.
Well, you heard it here first in the Wasted Wagons. If you're looking for a cheesy, low-budget film on Tubi that contains a lot of nudity, Evil Tunes.
Tubi might pick
So
this up
the
and
best
put it
way-
on there.
Best way that I could describe it is Cool World meets softcore porn on Cinemax.
All right, I'm not quite sure how we move on from Evil Tunes here, but we're gonna turn the mic over to Sean really quick, and he's got a couple of things he wants to talk about. Leading first with the crew, his men's club crew, doing a brew walk around the neighborhood. So I'm gonna leave it to him to tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. I don't know if I really wanted to talk about it, but I mean,
All right. Next segment.
Thank you. No, it was it's a good day. We meet at school and then start pre-gaming a little bit, drink a little bit, and then go to 5 different stops around the neighborhood. Whoever wants to host, co-host, and try to have different beers to try at each house. And it was, a nice day of, drinking and not getting too crazy, but, enough time to unfold a table to do some beer pong at each house.
And this is a men's club thing or a school thing?
It is, like, originally we didn't broadcast it as a men's club thing, but now we don't mind putting a name on it because we've done it enough times, keep it pretty tasteful, nobody gets crazy, and, there's no cops called on us or anything. And usually put it in the North Bridgedale group and tell the neighborhood that it's happening so people are aware. And, it's pretty tame and it's a lot of fun at the same time. And, I mean, each stop tries to have some food, and the 4th stop that I co-hosted, I threw out the Guy Wings. Shout out to Guy Wings; those were a hit.
I hear those are really good ones.
Went and picked up. That's the ones that we had at the draft, and it was like 100 of them was like $60 or whatever. A little spicy, but they were gone in a heartbeat.
So I get a question for you for making the rounds. Did you find any alcohols that you really liked on this that you may not have had before?
One house had like an Italian theme, so they had like Peroni, Moretti, I think, or Moretta. I can't remember what it was, but Italian beers, which were interesting. And then honestly, I had one house had Guinness. I hadn't even drank Guinness like that in a long time, and it was like, it's still okay to me. It's better than it used to be, but
Yeah.
If anything, it was, it's funny. I think, well, because there's a lot of older guys are more traditional, so I brought the Winter White Ale, the Sam Adams, and that was getting very mixed reviews. People like, it's okay, or like, what is this crap?
They need their palates checked.
Defriend them.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, there's you got the guys that they drink like Michelob is a stretch for them. Like, where's the Bud Light? It's like, come on,
So I'll piggyback off of Guinness for a second. I remember, back in the day drinking Guinness, and then the only way you could really stomach it was with a Irish car bomb, and you're dropping a shot of Bailey's in it, and that's the way you made it taste good. But I feel like over time, now that we've developed more, our palates have developed more as far as shifting towards the stouts and porters and things like that.
Yeah.
To where I find I haven't had Guinness in a long time either, but I'd probably like it a lot better now than I probably did back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it used to taste like motor oil, and then it's just like I had it the other day, and it's like, it's just like another stout. It's heavy, but it's not undrinkable.
Do yourself a favor. Go to Finn's on a Saturday or Sunday. Check out a little footy, but get yourself a Guinness on tap from Finn's, and you will love it.
Last time I went to Finn's with you, I had the Irish coffee. Follow it up with a Guinness.
And the Guinness Blonde is actually really good. That's one that again I've not a huge fan from back in the day of the regular Guinness, but then I had the Blonde fairly recently, and it was actually very good. So I'm pretty sure I would probably like the Guinness nowadays more than I did back when I was in college.
Do they still have the little thing inside the bottles or the can or whatever?
Oh, like the little bead, the little shaker thing or whatever? Yeah, to keep it mixed.
They still do that?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. It's been a while.
Really? Wow.
Was that only in bottle? I remember what you're talking about. Was that only in bottles or cans or both? I don't remember.
Bottles and cans.
Maybe
just
cans.
clap your
Maybe
hands.
cans.
I remember
Maybe it
that,
was
the clack clack, when you
Clack, yeah.
when you would move the bottle around.
I don't remember that at all.
That was-
I think
that
I
was
do
years
too.
ago.
I think I remember getting one
That was the fun thing about getting a Guinness back in the day. I mean,
Probably.
it tasted like shit, but then you had the little shaking thing.
No, I think I do remember going to Daiquiri Bay Cafe one time with Nick Bourgeois, and then getting a Guinness over there.
Daiquiri Bay Cafe on Esplanade.
No, I think the one on Vet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's an Oak Lawn.
Yeah, and then
Oof, no, not West Esplanade.
and getting a Guinness bottle at the time, and it had something in the bottle. I do remember that.
It was a bottle. Okay, yeah, bottle.
Yeah, the bottles used to be wrapped, didn't they? They had like a
Yeah,
like
they
a
had a
film,
wrapping,
something
yeah.
on the wrap,
Little gold
outside.
wrap, I think, too, on the top.
One
Yeah,
thing
something
I,
like that.
I regret not getting, so because I haven't seen it in 2 years. But y'all know I like the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Peppermint Porter. It's probably a top 10 favorite beer for me. But Guinness released a mint beer not that long ago, and I was hesitant to get it because it was like super expensive. It was like $18 for like a 4-pack, but probably would have been pretty solid.
I think I've tried that. I think I got a solo at. I think it was pretty good. I got a solo at the. Why is the name escaping me? The place on Jefferson Highway that we always talk about.
No,
Saving
Saving Time. Yeah.
So when I said that Guinness tasted like shit, that was my recollection back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
I haven't had like
Right.
I think I'm in the same boat with y'all. If I had it today, it would taste a whole lot different. But
I felt that about Giacomo forever ago. I remember like Biff brought it or something. I had it with him like years ago, and it was like, this is awful. But then I had it on tap somewhere, not too long ago, and it was like, wow, this is really good. Not like amazingly good, but it's like it wasn't like putrid. I could for an IPA.
You can go ahead and put me down for another love letter, Mike. I'll write one to Finn's. I don't get Guinness all the time, but when I do, it's at Finn's, and it's always delicious.
let's make it a date. Let's all go to Finn's and have a fucking Guinness.
You can see if we can get them put on your Segunda division.
We have
Fuck yeah.
no. How about this? As soon as Mike buys a Las Palmas jersey, we'll all go repping our teams. Irish coffees, Guinnesses. It doesn't matter who's playing. We'll just go.
Okay.
I have a Team USA polo, so
You don't have to to twist my arm. I'm there. I'll go any Sunday or Saturday you want to go.
Finn McCool's.
yeah. It's been a while, but Sarah's work does happy hours there. We've been there on Fridays a few times.
It's such an interesting place. I love it. Like, obviously, even outside of soccer, you go there on pick any day of the week, and the diversity of the crowd and the
Yes.
people is the best. Like, the people watching is fantastic. The bar is obviously great. The food is really good too, especially if you go for breakfast. The bodega egg sandwich, highly recommend with a Guinness, whatever, but do your thing. Ice cold Pacifico,
Ooh, there you go.
primo. But the people watching is next level. You'll see any and everything there.
What did we rate Pacifico?
I like Pacifico.
Did we rate that high or
it-
low on that?
It was middle to above average, I think.
Above average?
It's a 4 and probably some change for me.
Yeah.
I think of what you're talking about our review, right?
Yeah, the
I think it was
review.
like say top 3 versus the bottom 3.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, I guess we'll have to do a on-air review of it for the pod.
Well, the funny thing is, like Patrick's talking about the people watching. I went with Patrick when it was Liverpool playing Manchester City,
Manchester
and
City.
there was a lot of Liverpool fans there, and there was a handful of them there that had the scarves on. So I mean, they came prepared. They were all decked out. It's good shit.
Yep, that's the beauty of it. When you find like the top 16, when the two of the top 16s play each other, most of the fan bases, but especially Liverpool, Arsenal, and for the most part United, their fans will show up and they will get into it. They'll sing their songs, and so it's a big show. Let's say.
Was it Liverpool or Arsenal
They
that
come
was
out the
playing
woodwork.
Manchester City?
You watched Arsenal.
Okay.
But I'm looking down the run sheet, and we're talking about how you segue off of this. Mike, you want to talk about Brothers Chicken?
Yes, I have a little story about brothers. And look, this is not the store that I'm mad about. It's just this particular person that worked there.
Big Ross loved them some
So
Brothers Chicken.
So is this kind of like a gear grinder?
Yeah.
Okay, a gear grinder.
It's
haven't had one of those in a
I haven't done one in a while, so this is a gear grinder. So I went to Brothers to get some chicken. I was working that day, and I walk in, and I go straight to the chicken counter, and I'm expecting to see the same lady that I always see. Not that I'm friends with the lady or anything, but it's just somebody that when you go in that store, and I go there often, not to get chicken, but just drinks or whatever while I'm working. And so I walk in, and I see a different person behind the counter, and I happen to recognize this person. It is somebody that I went to school with a long time ago, which definitely, made me
Which
a little.
brothers is this?
The one on Downs and Vets.
Okay.
By the Lafreniere Park.
Yep.
So I walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, like I know this person. Like it felt a little awkward, you know. But I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know.
They still have a job to do.
Yeah, still have a job. And, you know, I was putting in my order, you know, after the small talk, you know, how you doing and all that stuff. So I put in my order and she writes it down and then she verbalizes what I ordered. And I said, oh, no. I want the combo with the drink and the fries. And then so on the little box, she had already written just the chicken tenders. So she kind of went over from a 7 to an 8, which I took a picture. This bothered me so much. I took a picture, and I'll share it with y'all later.
Patrick's got his popcorn ready.
Yeah. So she turns the 7 to an 8. She puts fries in the thing, and I go get my drink, and then I go pay. You pay somewhere else. You pay at the counter with the person. And he enters in the price, and I kind of look at the register to see how much it was. And I don't know, he had like he had a strange look to his face after he plugged it in, and he looked at the register too. And he proceeds to berate this person, the person that I know, berates this person in front of all the people in the store, starts yelling at her like, I'm talking about like a fucking dog, worse than a dog. It just did not sit right with me. I had to step in and I had to tell the guy, hey man, this is my fault. I told her that I wanted this after the fact. And he looked at me and he's like, oh, I'm very sorry, very sorry. And it's like, no. He turns to her again and starts freaking yelling even more, even louder at her. And it was very uncomfortable, very unprofessional. There was probably some cultural things that in there as well, that reasons why this was happening, in my belief. And I don't know. It just did not sit right with me. And then I left there, and that's all I could think about for like a whole day. You know, it was like, oh my gosh, you know, and it kind of hurt. Not that I've never talked to this person since I went to grammar school with her. So it wasn't like I have kept up with this. I didn't even really talk to her in grammar school, to be honest with you. It was just the fact that it was an acquaintance, somebody that I knew, and then this person was being so ugly to her in front of so many people. And yeah, I kind of was very sad about it.
Does this change your opinion of going back to that store?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm never going there again. No, never.
Are you gonna go to another Brothers, or is this just more Brothers for you for the remainder of your life?
I think I'm done. And no, so what happened was, you know, I was doing good on the diet, and then I took a week off, to kind of, you know, I had family in from out of town and all stuff, so I took a week off, and then I was like, this was my like last cheat meal, I guess. So I went there, and yeah, I was hoping to have a great experience eating, you know, fried chicken that, you know, I wasn't gonna have for a while, and then that happened, and I was like, oh man, that just sucked.
Well, I guess a silver lining in this is that you could look at it and say, you know what, I've made this plan to kind of cut fried food out, and this was maybe my sign to say I need to do it.
Yeah, maybe so.
And on that sign from heaven, wagons out.
Wagons out.